What is up, RZ Jones 18 fans? Welcome to the final October haul. This is the haul for the end of the month, and I have acquired about one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, counting him. I've acquired 10 pieces over the past month from ordering them to being shipped at the end of the month here. So happy October. Hope you guys have a good month. Hope you guys are gonna have a good Halloween coming up this week. All good things. I'm hoping you guys have a good one. But besides the point, let's get to what you guys wanted to see. What did I acquire over this month? Well, it was a mix. I bought a figure for pure curiosity. I acquired a not really grail piece, but a piece I've been after for about a year, and I finally got him. And I also acquired something I didn't think I would be seeing until February. And I also got the first figure of a brand new subset line within motu. So I'm excited to show you guys all that off. Plus, I have acquired 3 new figures for my Origins collection to check off my checklist, which I have already. But we were gonna go ahead and get started with those first because they're the more older figures here of the bunch. These came out in 22. These are 2 variants of He-Man and Skeletor. So I did not have either of these variants at the time, but now I do, and I like them. These are definitely the most gimmicky of the figures I've owned so far for these 2 characters. Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor aside, and also owning the vintage Mattel He-Man and Skeletor for the anniversary. These have the gimmick, and these also have the least amount of parts to be taken off. You can't take it off at the waist and at the arms. I am obviously talking about Flying Fist He-Man and Terror Claw Skeletor. Now, if you go back about a year ago now, I had the classics versions. These were the 2 namesake versions of He-Man and Skeletor in my Masterverse Universe Classics collection that I had way back a year ago. And these were the first 2 classics figures that I bought. Was this 2 pack of He-Man and Skeletor and these armors. And I was like, you know what? We'll go with this. And now I have them in Origins form. They stand out there with my Pixel Dan He-Man book, and I feel like that's a really good place to put them because I already have 4 He-Man and Skeletors in the collection. I really don't need to put another 2 He-Man and Skeletors in the collection. I am speaking on this, and now I have to realize I have to go grab something. I will be right. And we're back. Sorry about that. I just realized there were 2 more figures in this haul that I want to talk to you about. And it makes me, again, I'm glad I have them, but it makes me realize why I'm staying with the Origins part of Masters for me. But to show them off what we were talking about earlier, here is Terror Claw Skeletor. And he's got the beautiful pink chrome armor with the skull in the middle. His Terror Claws, which are the exact same ones that you get with the sketch series Grizzlor. The head sculpt is very interesting. He comes with a second one. This is like more of a smiling head for Skeletor. Because of the nature of him, I have extra heads for Skeletor, but I'm just going to keep the heads that came on both these figures because I really have no reason to change them. And the way these figures work, you also get this little dragon that is just going to stay on his back, but your arms are on a click, and then you just go nuts with them. Like, ah. We'll do the same thing with He-Man. And then they just click back into place, but they do have still the outward movement. The legs still move fine, but there's no removal at the waist, and there's no removal of the arms. So this is when they were still working with the chrome armor and trying to get that right. And I'm going to tell you right now, of the 2 necks that I've ever painted, Skeletor's was the best of the 2. But of the 3 silver or chromed out figures, good old Mr. Hurricane Hordak over here looks the best when it comes like to the neck paint. But that's Skeletor. Now here's the other one, Flying Fist He-Man. And as you can see, he's got the red and silver and gold chrome on the armor. He's got the now standard fold together power sword. He's also got the shield. And with him, again, take this off his back. There's a little post right there that'll post into his hand. And I mean, once you get it on there, it really doesn't move. And again, get his arms where you want them, and then he can just go to town and just smack people. But that's what these two are. These are the most gimmicky He-Man and Skeletor figure I own in the collection now. Without a doubt, these are the most gimmicky I have. So I'm going to set them down here. And we're now going to move on to these two. So we're doing He-Man and Skeletor's, getting them out of the way first. So, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, back in July, I got the 40th anniversary 2-pack, a 40th anniversary 4-pack of the He-Mans, like the cartoon, New Adventures, 2000X, and the Netflix one. And the Netflix one was my favorite of the bunch because I finally had a figure of that character in the collection based on the Netflix version of the show, which I very much enjoy. However, I also remember that Masterverse put out 2 figures, one of He-Man and one of Skeletor, of the same show. And I was like, I really want the way they were designed based on the cartoon and not just being on an Origins body. Well, I have both of them, and I have opinions. So here's He-Man, and here's the thing. I don't hate these figures. I don't. There's going to be a very rare time in these videos where I'm going to say outright, I just don't like these figures. Those Spin Master Superman figures was an example. I don't hate these. I don't like them either. The head sculpt, I think, looks really good on He-Man. I think that looks like he does in the CGI model. He is big and bulky, as he's supposed to be from the original cartoon. And I think like all the paint looks nice on these. This looks like the CGI render of the character from the show. However, this is my first time dealing with really stiff joints on a Mattel Masterverse figure, and I thought Trapjaw was great, but the way that they have, like, just because of the proportions of this character, he doesn't really get like a nice straight down leg stance where he would stand better. Like, he gets a good A stance, but it doesn't sit right. But his arms do not go down all the way, and I wish they would. It's just because of the nature of the body mold. That's the part I understand. You also get the gigantic power sword with this, well, nice is nice to say. It's a good silver and this nice coppery gold, and it goes in the hand, but the hands are so rigid and stiff that you can't really put the sword in there, unfortunately. So I just post this onto his back, and that's where it stays, and that's him. It just, I don't know. I don't know if I was just expecting more out of this or what. Like, if you give him like the gorilla arms, that looks better, but it doesn't, it's not what I wanted. And the bigger one of this is going to be Skeletor. So these figures came out back when the show was coming out, so around the 2021 era. And then we also got this big behemoth. So we're going to remove this thing. So he's got stiffer joints, and there is already unfortunate tension riding in the elbow joint right here on this arm, unfortunately. But here's the thing. I love the head sculpt on this one, very much so. I think the head sculpt on this one looks really good. The armor looks really good. He looks good, but I had a QC issue with this one right out of the box. So I got him out of the box, and I was trying to like maneuver him around, see how it would feel. He's really light, but also heavy all at the same time. But I went to go swivel his foot, and yeah, that happened. So unlike with Masters of the Universe Origins and Cartoon Collection stuff, legs pop off at this exact point. It's not a problem, and you can just port them back in. But unfortunately, like, once I get it there, I can't rotate that anymore. Like, he loses that ability to move that joint because of the nature of the way that it's designed. And like, it's super frustrating because like that that ankle joint is nice. Like, it's sturdy, and so he can stand up just fine. That once I get the leg in, like once I get it in there, he doesn't move. Like, he stands like the way I want him to stand and everything. You get his bicep joints right and everything. Like, he stands just fine. And I like the shade of bone yellow they went with for the hand and for the skull. But my big issue with him is not even the figure. It's the craziness of this thing right here, his Havoc staff. So, in order to put it in his hand, you have to separate it and then stick the rod up to his hand and then post it back in. Like, that's how it's supposed to work. But he also has this random chain attached to it, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Like, there's no real purpose to the chain except to say, hey, there's a metal chain on your figure. And listen, I like metal chains as much as the next person. I think it adds something to the figure, and I like because it adds realism to it. And I think I like the fact that it does that. But this Havoc staff is just too heavy. This is my big issue with the Masterverse Viking Skeletor, the first new Eternia Skeletor that we got when Masterverse first started. That Havoc staff was too heavy, and so now bear in mind this is not like the 40th Havoc staff that came with the 40th anniversary 2-pack of He-Man Skeletor from Comic-Con. That entire top part, well, not the entire top part, but like the horns on the 40th one were also made of metal, and it was also really hard for them to hold that one. I know the plastic one's better on the re-release vintage style figure at Walmart, but this does not take away from the fact that this thing is heavy for no reason, and he can barely hold it. So this was a lesson learned. I now know where I stand with Masters of the Universe when it comes to their product. I prefer the Origin stuff. I am not going to be getting into Masterverse like I thought I was going to, like with New Eternia. I know those figures are better. I know these are old figures compared to what we got right now. And I have Trapjaw on my wall. I love that New Eternia Trapjaw to death. It's one of my favorite 6-inch scale figures ever made. But I'm not going to be doing Masterverse again. This is a lot like what happened with McFarlane before I got into Superman. This just leaves a sour taste in the mouth. Like, I was really looking forward to getting these. Now, granted, I also got these at a deep discount. These were $9.60 each on Big Bad Toy Store. And so I was like, for $10, basically for $20, for $10, for $20 for both of them together, I would want to give that a shot. That's kind of like finding them at like a trade show or along those lines. And these feel like $9 figures. You do not feel like the premium figure cost that we get now with the New Eternia stuff from current Mattel Masterverse products, which I've owned, Trapjaw being one. These are just not good. These are staying over here on the display in the background, and that's where they're going to stay. I have my preferred version of this He-Man, and he's on my wall. That's just how it's going to be. It's a shame. I was looking forward to these, and I'm doing what I did with Spin Master. These guys are just going to go on the floor for the remainder of the haul. I wish I liked them. I really do. But this is my first time just thinking a Mattel figure for Masters of the Universe was just okay. But now let's get to the good stuff. This is where I wanted to get to. I wanted to get those out of the way because they're older figures. We've seen them before numerous times. This is all new. This is all new. This stuff coming out in the recent months. We're going to start off with the most random of the bunch because I never buy this line anymore. I never really collect this line. However, I'm still feeling that way after hearing reviews about Deadpool and Hulk. But I love this character and I wanted to give it a shot. So I bought the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man. I got to go to Comics to Games about a week ago. Got to go every 2 weeks is my plan to take my little sister to go get new books and also scoop up any new figures I'm looking for the collection. And they had a bunch of these there. Now, this cost $60. This is the most expensive Marvel Legend I've ever bought. It's not a 2-pack, not a multi-pack. It is a singular figure. And well, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about this for a couple minutes here. But here is the Spider-Man in question. And I'm saying this right off the bat to get this out of the way. I love the figure. I love this figure. I think the figure is very good, and it's off of my favorite version of Spider-Man, and that would be Todd McFarlane's version from the comics. I love the big wide eye design. Like, this is my preferred look for Spider-Man from the comic books, and does not disappoint. This looks exactly like McFarlane artwork. I think the spider looks really good. I know people complain about the long ones here on the back of the butterfly joint. That doesn't bother me as much, but like proportionally, aesthetically, this is the kind of figure I like. And he has got range of movement like nothing. Toe, drop hips, seamless double jointed elbows and knees, double pin leg for the head. You've got the multiple joints here at the torso. You got the torso joint itself. I wish you got a waist joint, but I'm not going to complain. The toe joint is crazy. Seeing a toe joint on a current Marvel Legends figure is nuts. And I know it's like they've been doing that with a couple figures here recently, but seeing a toe joint on a Marvel Legends figure is kind of crazy. This thing poses like a dream. You can get this in any kind of pose you want. It also comes with a crap ton of accessories. You get 2 swinging webs. You get 1 web shield. You get 1 web bomb attack. You get 1 web sweeping attack. You get the spider sense. You get the really weird extra head. You get the really funky Peter Parker head. The over large hands, human hands with the web shooters on them. You get the flipping hands with the big hands with web coming out. The fists, the holding fists. You get so much with this, but was it worth the $60? No. Just no. This is not a $60 figure. This is, at best, a $45 figure. I would have taken this with $45, no problem. I don't even think the Deadpool is worth the $60. Hulk, I've heard, is a tremendous issue because of them using the rubber chest to make the arms go in and out more. I've heard people about tearing on this. So, this was Marvel Legends' a way of doing a Mafex Tamashii Nation style figure at that price point. But here's what I will say. Compared to a Mafex figure or a Hiya Toys figure along those lines, this holds better together because it's a Marvel Legends figure. Marvel Legends figures hold better together than Mafex or SH Figuarts because you've got like the thin joints where things pop off every time you try to pose those figures. That won't happen here. These figures are meant to stay together to be posed. And I will give credit to credit is due. It holds together. It stays well together. It is a nice, dense figure. Like, it feels good in the hand. But all the accessories you get, it doesn't really justify the price. I wish it came with 1 more head. Like with the mask like halfway up his face or something. Like, they have that. They could have easily done that for this figure. I wish he would have came with web wings. You know, that would have been a really good night. That would have been really cool. I wish he would have came with a flight stand. Like, his web effects have a stand, but I wish he would have came with a stand. I think a stand would have been very cool with this figure to have. To, like, put him in those dynamic flying poses and web swinging poses and stuff. Like, I got out of Marvel Legends simply because it just got too expensive. Now, granted, my other lines I like to collect now are getting up there as well. I'm getting right back into Transformers again at the time the prices are going up ridiculously high next year. I made the decision. I'm sticking with it because I got 3 of the greatest figures in Transformers ever in my collection now. We'll talk about them. You already know about one of them. We'll talk about the other 2. And now that I have this Spider-Man, I want a Venom for him. Like, I want to actively look and get a Venom for him. The one I'm looking at right now currently is the Gamerverse one from Spider-Man 2. I know he won't go great with the way this guy looks, but I don't care. That figure looks incredible. At $80, it's expensive, but I feel like you're getting more out of that figure than you are with this one because of just how big he is. But I really want a Venom for this Spider-Man to go against, and I think that Venom will go great with him. So I'll end up getting that Venom sometime this year for sure. But this is a foray where I bought one. I'm good now. I'm going to get Venom, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Marvel Legends just aren't my thing. I am not a active 6-inch sale action figure collector. Now, motu Origins is a different factor. I love this form factor of the 5.5. I love this factor for this Spider-Man. I think the lankiness is perfect for this Spider-Man, but this is just not my figure line anymore. I used to actively collect Marvel Legends religiously back in the day, but they're just not for me. I'm more akin to the Masters of the Universe scale figures. Not this anymore, unfortunately. Like, when you look at them, like, if I stand him and He-Man next to each other, they are... Spider-Man's about a head taller than He-Man. But still, like, I like how this looks a lot more. I think this is... I like this because I like Spider-Man. It'd be like if I bought a McFarlane Batman figure, whether it be like the Nightfall or a Long Halloween Batman or something along those lines. I would buy that because I love that comic book and I want that kind of Batman in the collection. And that's where I would stop with this Spider-Man. It's the Spider-Man with the most. Like, it doesn't get better than that. To Marvel Legends anyway. I'm good. I can leave it there and be happy with it. But enough about him. Very good figure. Not one of my favorites of the year, unfortunately. Aesthetically, articulation-wise, I think he's fantastic. But it just... The price does not justify the happiness I got out of the figure. I got $45 worth of happiness out of this figure. I'm posing it like crazy, but it just does not hit what I thought it was going to. Now we get to the stuff that does hit for me now here, as of, well, forever and as of late. So we're going to go ahead and do the 2 new Masters of the Universe Origins figures that I've gotten here recently. And we're going to start off with this one right here. So this just came in today. This was put up for to purchase on October 21st for Club Grayskull members. And I am so glad to add him to the collection. That would be Masters of the Universe Origins 40th anniversary for She-Ra, Stingor. And I love this figure. It is so good. The way they did the tail on this was so cool. Multiple joints in the tail. People have been complaining about the claw and why it won't fit on this hand. That's why they include this hand down here, everybody. You put that hand there and you shove the claw on. I like the fact that they just didn't reuse the clawful hand again because it wouldn't look nice on this figure. I love the scaling on him. I think the head sculpt on this figure looks really good. But as a Creations exclusive, my Horde shelf is full enough as it is. He will go quietly on the wall next to the Bumblebee armor box. So he'll go on the wall. Very happy to have Stingor in the collection. We get our next one this month being, I believe, Dragster. So we get another Horde member to tap off the rest of the year. They are definitely sticking to the She-Ra stuff, clearly for the Origins Creations exclusives. So I'm hoping Glimmer or somebody from... Rebellion will be a Creations exclusive for December. I was hoping for Too Bad, but I'm guessing Too Bad will be sometime next year. Unless we get Too Bad in 2000X line before we get him in Origins, which would be freaking nuts. Speaking of 2000X, way I tie that in. So, we recently got the announcement that from Comic-Con that the next cartoon collection line that Mattel will be doing is based on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe from 2000. This is the next series we're going into, and the figures went up for pre-order about a month and a half ago. I put them all up for pre-order, the first wave, which was Beastman, Triclops, Stratos, and He-Man, and to my surprise, I got one of them early. One of them shipped early, and I got them here, and that would be the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection Beastman from 2000X, and I adore this packaging. Oh, it looks so good. The artwork on the back looks terrific based on the first episode, Night of the Shadow Beast, and it also gives us the first hint of our next big figure, which will be Ram Man. I'm guessing Wave 3 will be Roboto. They're probably still working on trying to get that figure to work. So, but Roboto will definitely be the next figure out of the big figures, but Ram Man will be Wave 2. But again, the packaging art looks great. You get that full image of Castle Grayskull up top. You got the artwork here of Beastman on the side. A full thing of artwork here on the side for Beastman. And it looks terrific. It looks really, really good. But enough about the figure. Here's his whip. And I am now a stickler for rope whips. Not plastic ones. I like the rope whips. However, like aesthetically, I get this. This makes sense to go with the figure. It looks like the cartoon, and, you know, This is what Cartoon Collection goes for. So, with that in mind, here is, for the first time, Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection 2000X Beastman. And I gotta tell you, for nostalgia's sake, this hits hard. This is what, people for Cartoon Collection got when that line came out. This hits me hard. I used to watch this show as a kid, and having a very, very good representation of Beastman now in the collection based on that show is very cool. And he looks terrific. I know people have been getting on this head sculpt, and when you look at it, it's interesting. Like, the teeth are nicely painted, they're all individually sculpted. I wish the toenails would have been painted and the fingernails would have been painted. But like, he's a big chonky boy. Like, if I stand him here and I bring back in Spider-Man, he's taller than Spider-Man by the shoulder here. If I bring in a standard Motu Origins figure, he is a head taller. So I'm guessing he's about the same height as Mumra. The other good way to check this is to bring in our little Masterverse figures here. So if I put them here next to each other, he's about Masterverse size. He's about this kind of bulky Masterverse size. So, but he articulates the exact same way. The head comes off, arms come off, very tight. Also at the calf is where it comes off now. It won't look good on any other figure because it's being flesh tone for him. I wish the armor was attached a little bit better, but all in all, he looks terrific. And again, he can hold this whip just fine. I think he looks really good with it. You get him in a decent pose. You get his leg going here. Get his head tilted. Like, he looks great. He looks really, really, really good. I'm very excited to see what the other three figures are going to look like, because that'll determine where I go with the 2000X Cartoon Collection stuff, because I want to get that Man-at-Arms, I want to get the Skeletor, and I really want to get the, whenever it happens, the Trapjaw for this line as well. Trapjaw being my favorite Masters of the Universe character, I really want every edition of that figure I can get. And so, I have Masterverse, I have Origins, I'd love to get a vintage one, a classics one. Like, he's the figure I want to get the most of. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and make this part 1 of the October haul for the end of the month. I have 4 more figures to show you guys, and that will happen sometime within the next couple days or so. But thank you guys very much for watching part 1 of the October haul 2025. And again, this was Marvel Legends Spider-Man, Masters of the Universe, Stingor, Masterverse, He-Man and Skeletor from Netflix, and then Terror Claw and Flying Fists for Origins. We will see you guys with some stuff that is more than meets the eye in part 2. But until then, I'll catch you guys later.